Archangel Michael's shocking prophecy for July 14th. He just revealed a hidden truth about your future that will change everything. Don't ignore this urgent divine message. It's your blueprint for success and protection. Open immediately to know your destiny. Tonight, the heavens are not silent. On July 14th, Archangel Michael tears through the veil with a prophecy so urgent, so unmistakably divine, that ignoring it could delay your destiny for years. This isn't about luck. It's not about chance. This is a spiritual blueprint hand-delivered from the throne room of heaven. Your future has been spoken of in sacred places, and Michael, the warring angel of light, has been dispatched to ensure you finally hear what was kept hidden until now. The shift began hours ago, though you may not have noticed. That unease in your chest, that heaviness behind your eyes, the strange signs, the repeated numbers, the unexpected delays, the voices you thought were your own thoughts whispering truth, they were all leading to this moment. Because the path you thought you were supposed to walk was never yours. The prophecy being revealed today isn't gentle. It's not wrapped in comfort. It's a divine disruption, meant to wake you before you stumble into something you were never meant to carry. Michael's voice is not soft in this hour. He comes wielding fire and clarity. This message isn't general. It's tailored, specific, chosen. For the one reading now, yes, you've been tested long enough. Your prayers, even the ones you gave up on halfway through, were not ignored. But heaven's answer required spiritual maturity, emotional readiness, and divine timing. And that timing is now. The delay has expired. This message is your signal, your escape, your revelation. The enemy has studied your lineage. He's followed the patterns you inherited, hoping you would never awaken to the truth of who you are. But today, Archangel Michael breaks that silence with this shocking prophecy. Your future is not random. It has already been carved, sealed, and is now being delivered. The forces that tried to delay your progress, distort your clarity, and confuse your spirit are being dismantled, piece by piece, word by word. You are standing at a spiritual gate. Behind it is access to everything that has eluded you: peace, provision, purpose, and protection. But the key is not physical. It is obedience. It is alignment. And it is receptivity to what you're about to hear. There are parts of this message that will shake you. There are truths that will sting. But the one who can endure it is the one who is ready for elevation. And Michael's sword is already unsheathed. He's here for war on your behalf. Let every word that follows be a weapon against confusion and a compass to clarity. Listen with your soul. Read with spiritual eyes. Because once you open this message, you will never walk the same again. This is not a story. It's a divine map. And this map leads straight into your future. #type I am chosen to receive the blessing 7410. You thought the delays in your life were coincidences. You thought the people who disappeared were just fickle. But Archangel Michael says, none of it was random. Every detour, every closed door, every rejection was part of a larger strategy from heaven to rout you from destruction. The enemy had planted traps disguised as opportunities. But Michael blocked them without you even knowing. His wings stood between you and betrayal while you slept, while you cried, while you almost gave up. You didn't see the setup because heaven hid it, until now. There's been a pattern running beneath your surface. People enter your life in cycles. The same arguments, the same temptations, the same pain wearing a different face. That's not just life, it's warfare. Someone has been studying your soul, mimicking your desires, and wrapping chaos in comfort. But the prophecy for July 14th reveals this setup has expired. What once fooled you will now be exposed. What once seduced your trust will now repel your spirit. Your discernment is being sharpened in real time. Type I am rising to get the blessing 4896. The enemy's greatest strategy wasn't to harm you directly. It was to make you believe you were the problem. But Michael whispers tonight, you were never the issue. You were the target. Because the calling on your life is too loud for darkness to ignore. Heaven has been watching how you carry yourself through silence. How you kept showing up even when the applause stopped. That is why this prophecy had been authorized now. You've passed spiritual tests that your family line has failed for generations. You may not have physical scars, but spiritually, you've been bleeding. Widely. Consistently. And this is why Archangel Michael is stepping in. He's not just here to comfort you. He's here to restore divine order. You've been aligning with things that looked good but carried poison. You've compromised to keep peace with people who were sent to keep you stuck. This is your divine interruption. The lies are unraveling. The cycles are breaking. And the truth, it's rising to the surface like fire in your chest. Top I am anointed to get blessing 6823. This prophecy has weight. It won't let you be casual anymore. You will start noticing things. Fake smiles, conversations that drain you, decisions that no longer fit your spirit. These are not mood swings. They are divine alerts. Michael is flipping the lights on in rooms you used to sit in blind. He's about to show you what's behind the curtain. And when you see it, you won't need to argue or explain. Your silence will be your sword. Your exit will be your elevation. Remember this, heaven is not interested in your comfort. It's interested in your calling. And this calling cannot coexist with confusion. You're being pulled into purpose, and that pull may feel like pain. But Michael is beside you. With every message you receive, with every layer pulled back, he's reminding you, you are more than you thought. Stronger than you knew. Closer than you feared. This July 14th isn't just another day. It's a spiritual launch. A breaking of chains you forgot you wore. Type I receive the truth to unlock the blessing 7952. There was someone in your life who smiled at your growth but secretly feared your elevation. This person wore understanding on their face but carried envy in their spirit. They acted supportive, but behind the scenes, they planted seeds of doubt, whispered warnings to others about you, and disguised their fear as advice. Archangel Michael says the delay in your calling didn't come from a stranger. It came from someone close, masked in trust. And until now, you didn't see it. But this prophecy, it rips the mask clean off. They didn't want your destruction. They wanted your dependence. As long as you leaned on them, you were no threat. As long as you questioned yourself, they didn't have to face what your success would reveal in them. The enemy didn't need to possess them. He only needed to infect their insecurity. And because you loved them, their words pierced deeper than anyone else's. That's why it hurt. That's why it stuck. But Archangel Michael is here to clean the wound and expose the source. Type I'm rising to get the blessing 5931. This isn't about vengeance. It's about clarity. You must understand that your calling disrupts comfort zones. Your light exposes shadows. That's why you felt resistance from someone who should have celebrated you. Michael says, you are not being paranoid. You're being awakened. What you sensed in your gut but pushed away with logic was real. The shift in energy. The sudden silence. the subtle undermining. That was the beginning of your spiritual separation, and it had to happen so your wings could grow. Don't mourn the loss of access. Sometimes, heaven closes doors not to punish, but to protect. That connection was a mirror, and now that you've changed, the reflection doesn't match. If they had stayed close, their energy would have infected your next season. Michael intervened. He orchestrated distance. He blurred communication. And now, you're starting to see that some losses are actually leaps forward disguised as pain. Type I am anointed to get blessing 8002. The masked one came with a pattern, support, sabotage, silence. You've danced with it long enough. This prophecy reveals that they were a spiritual weight, not a partner in purpose. Every time you tried to rise, they reminded you of old versions of yourself. Every breakthrough was followed by their doubt. But here's the truth. Their opinion was never your limit. Their comfort was never your ceiling. You are being released from the spell of needing their validation. You may not get closure. They may never admit what they did. That's not your job. Your assignment is to heal, rise, and walk into the destiny they almost delayed. Michael says your calling is too big to argue about. Your spirit is too rare to explain to shallow hearts. Let your movement preach what your mouth doesn't need to say. The season of proving is over. The season of becoming has begun. If this message is piercing your spirit and helping you step into divine truth, consider giving a super chat or super thanks today. Your support of $20 helps us continue creating powerful, prophetic messages like this one. We are grateful for every seed you sow. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, you can make a difference by donating via PayPal using the support here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. And be sure to subscribe to this channel if you haven't yet. You'll receive regular prophetic guidance, exclusive content, and spiritual tools to keep you aligned with your divine path. Type I release the past to receive the blessing 7624. This is the moment Archangel Michael had been preparing you for. You've cried enough. You've questioned long enough. You begged heaven for change, and heaven has answered, but not in the way you expected. The divine reversal will begin outside of you. It starts within. This prophecy reveals that everything that was taken, delayed, or denied will return, but not to the version of you that begged for it. It's coming to the version of you that finally understands your worth. The old you had hope, but the new you carries authority. The first shift is spiritual, a change in posture, and change in the way you pray, the way you walk into rooms, the way you speak about your life. You're no longer asking the world to see your value. You're commanding your energy to align with what heaven already confirmed. Michael says, when you shift your tone, you shift your timing. You don't need another sign. You don't need another confirmation. You need to decide that the reversal begins now. Type I am rising to get the blessing 6117. Heaven has been holding back blessings that weren't safe for your unhealed self. That's not punishment. That's protection. The opportunities were real. The vision was accurate. But your spirit was still tied to old cycles, old voices, and old insecurities. And now, Michael declares those bonds are breaking. You've outgrown the skin that once fit. That restlessness in your soul isn't anxiety, it's expansion. The discomfort is birth pain. The shaking is confirmation. The reversal is already unfolding behind the scenes. But hear this clearly, a reversal isn't magic, it's movement. You have to walk like it's already shifted. Talk like it's already happened. Think like you're already free. Because what's been written over your life doesn't need permission to manifest, it needs alignment. Michael is issuing a divine summons. Let go of who you had to be to survive. Embrace who you were always meant to be. Unstoppable, anointed, unshakable. Type I am anointed to get blessing 9090. You are not just entering a new season. You are becoming a new vessel. The reversal doesn't mean going back to what you lost. It means being elevated into what fits your real identity. That means some people won't recognize you anymore. That's okay. They weren't assigned to your destiny. You were never meant to be understood by everyone. You were meant to be undeniable. Archangel Michael says, your clarity is coming. Your peace is coming. Your favor is coming. And it's coming fast. This is not just restoration. It's resurrection. The dreams you buried. The confidence that cracked. The passion you shelved just to get by. It's all being revived now. Every delay is being reversed. Every betrayal is being redeemed. Every loss is being leveraged for your divine release. Michael is watching over your transition, making sure what rises next cannot be corrupted. You're not just getting back what you lost. You're becoming who you've never been before. Type I rise in fullness to receive the blessing 7772. There are moments when heaven opens a vault, a spiritual inventory stored with everything you've prayed for, fasted for, and wept over. But not everyone can access it. Not everyone is ready. This vault opens only when obedience collides with divine timing. And Archangel Michael says, on July 14th, the vault opened. But it's not for the loud, not for the proud. It's for the obedient, the ones who moved even when they didn't understand, the ones who stayed even when it hurt. His transfer is sacred, and you're one of the chosen few. Obedience isn't just about avoiding sin. It's about saying yes to the uncomfortable. It's about walking into unfamiliar spaces with unwavering faith. That moment when you gave up control, when you stopped micromanaging outcomes and whispered, God, I trust you. That was your key. That's when the angelic order shifted. Michael stood before the throne and marked your name as ready. And now, a heavenly transfer is being dispatched straight into your life. Type I am rising to get the blessing 8219. But this won't feel like blessings raining down. It will feel like weight, responsibility, opportunity that requires growth, doors that demand preparation. Don't confuse discomfort with misalignment. What's being given to you now will stretch you, but it won't break you. The same angel who warred on your behalf is also the one guarding what's being released. And this time, it won't be stolen. It won't be delayed. It won't be shared with those who once fed off your glow but never carried your pain. This transfer isn't financial. It's foundational. Peace is being delivered. Vision is being sharpened. Resources are lining. Hidden helpers are being revealed. And above all, your identity is being restored. This is bigger than you. What you obey now becomes the inheritance of generations. You're breaking cycles, shifting bloodlines, carrying a spiritual authority your ancestors only dreamed of. And that's why it feels heavy, because you're holding more than your own promise. Top I am anointed to get blessing 6382. Some of what's arriving will look too big for you. Good. That's how you know it's from God. Michael says you weren't meant to be comfortable. You were meant to be challenged. Heaven didn't call you to small thinking or familiar patterns. You've been entrusted with territory, not just tasks. Influence, not just assignments. What's coming to you isn't a reward. It's a mantle. And you must wear it with reverence, because others are waiting for your obedience to activate their freedom. And remember this: what God gives, no man can block. You don't need to defend your blessing. You don't need to justify your elevation. Let your obedience speak. Let your consistency preach. Let your glow be proof. Archangel Michael says, you are no longer waiting on the transfer. You are the transfer. What you carry is what shifts atmospheres. And from this moment forward, you're no longer chasing alignment. You are alignment. Type I carry the mantle to receive the blessing 7555. There are wounds you couldn't explain. Nights when your chest felt heavy, your thoughts unraveled, and peace seemed unreachable. You blamed stress, hormones, overthinking. But Archangel Michael says, it wasn't just emotional. It was spiritual. The enemy launched an attack not on your body, not on your finances, but directly on your spirit. Because if your spirit is shaken, your decisions shift. If your inner alignment is distorted, your outer progress stalls. And for too long, the enemy almost succeeded in silencing your divine spark. His attack didn't come with thunder or flames. It came quietly, through comparison, fatigue, confusion, and subtle distractions. It made you question your purpose, second-guess your instincts, and over-justify the needs of others while neglecting your own soul. But today, this prophecy exposes the scheme. Michael reveals that the pain wasn't weakness. It was proof that you were carrying something the enemy feared. The deeper your ache, the closer your breakthrough. Type I'm rising to get the blessing 5174. You were targeted because of what's in your mouth. Your words are weapons. Your voice holds vibration. Your story breaks chains. That's why silence crept in. That's why discouragement grew louder. The enemy hoped that if he couldn't stop you physically, he could make you mute spiritually. But what he didn't account for was this: you kept showing up, even bruised, even numb, even when no one saw. That was spiritual warfare at its finest, and you didn't lose. Michael says, you are stronger than the attack. The fact that you're reading this now is evidence. He blocked what would have crushed others. He diverted attacks meant to sabotage your destiny. And now that you've endured it, you're rising with armor that cannot be pierced. You're not walking back into life the same. You're walking back fortified. What once stole your energy will now bow to your authority. Type I am anointed to get blessing 6020. Every distraction was engineered to keep you from recognizing your gift. But the fog is lifting. Your inner clarity is returning. That heaviness in your chest is being replaced by divine fire. And Michael declares, your spirit is no longer a battlefield. It's a lighthouse. You are not fragile. You are peace. You carry the residue of survival and the authority of purpose. This attack failed. And now, everything stolen in silence will be restored in public. This is your permission to reclaim joy, to laugh without guilt, to create without second-guessing, to rest without fear. You owe no one an explanation for your healing. You've walked through valleys no one knew about, and now, you're stepping into divine vindication. Heaven watched it all. Heaven remembers every tear. And now, Archangel Michael is declaring, it is your time to breathe again. Type I choose peace to receive the blessing 8844. You think you survived by chance, by instinct, by grit. But Archangel Michael says that's not the truth. What you call survival was divine interception. You were rescued. You just didn't see it. There was a night, a meeting, a moment that should have altered your path permanently. But heaven stepped in. The timeline that would have led to disaster was dismantled silently, without drama, without warning. And you didn't even know. That's how precise divine protection is. It saves you from what you'll never have to recover from. Michael stood at the door of what you thought was a blessing and blocked it. You thought it was rejection, delay, maybe even failure. But it was redirection. It was mercy. That offer you didn't get, that relationship that fell apart, that trip you didn't take. They were not missed opportunities. They were spiritual traps, and heaven routed you mid-flight. And now that the path has been cleared, your life is accelerating in ways your past can no longer interrupt. Type I am rising to get the blessing 4911. Someone tried to pull you into a story that wasn't yours. They looked like safety. They spoke like they cared. But their presence would have hijacked your timeline. You would have been delayed, distracted, drained. And heaven couldn't allow that. So it hurt. It looked unfair. But it was holy. At heartbreak. At silence. At closed door. It was coded in protection. What you lost was never meant to go with where you're going. And what's coming can't afford that interference. This rescue wasn't dramatic. It was divine. A pit you almost fell into. You were lifted out before your foot touched bottom. That conversation you missed. It was heaven muting what could have discouraged your faith. Michael says you've been walking on ground he cleared in advance. You've been breathing air that was fought for in the spirit. And now, the blessings you're receiving aren't random. They're the fruit of unseen battles already won. Type I am anointed to get blessing 7338. Your life has been preserved for a reason. Not to just exist, but to influence. Your timeline wasn't extended for survival. It was extended for assignment. You're not late. You're not behind. You're right on divine schedule. And this prophecy is your timestamp. From this moment on, you will feel things accelerate. Not by hustle, not by striving, but by favor. Doors will open without effort. Connections will find you. Provision will chase you down. Because you're finally on your timeline, not the one that others tried to map out for you. You've been routed by mercy. And now you're stepping into miracles. The next days of your life will carry a wind of divine confirmation. You will look back on this moment and realize that heaven didn't just save your life. It saved your future. Michael didn't just rescue you from danger. He preserved the version of you that can lead, heal, build, and shift atmospheres. You were not just spared. You were reassigned. If this message is piercing your spirit and helping you step into divine truth, consider giving a super chat or super thanks today. Your support of $20 helps us continue creating powerful, prophetic messages like this one. We are grateful for every seed you sow. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, you can make a difference by donating via PayPal using the support here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. And be sure to subscribe to this channel if you haven't yet. You'll receive regular prophetic guidance, exclusive content, and spiritual tools to keep you aligned with your divine path. Type I embrace my timeline to receive the blessing 8662. There are people you love who cannot go with you. This isn't punishment, it's prophecy. Archangel Michael says some relationships were only meant to be bridges, not destinations. You've outgrown the conversations, the patterns, the emotional contracts that once kept you tethered. And now, In order to walk into what's been spoken over you, you must release what's been comfortable but not compatible. Some people help you survive, but they cannot help you rise. They knew the version of you that settled, the you that second-guessed, that played small, that tried to be palatable. But that version no longer exists. Michael says, your spiritual DNA has changed. And the moment your spirit evolves, some connections will begin to feel foreign. That's not betrayal, it's alignment. Stop trying to drag people into places their soul refuses to grow in. Stop shrinking just to stay close. This prophecy is your permission to walk forward even if you must walk alone. Type I'm rising to get the blessing 5533. There are voices that can no longer guide you. Not because they are evil, but because they are limited. They speak from pain, not prophecy. They speak from fear, not faith. And every time you let them into your decisions, you delay divine outcomes. Michael says you've been listening to advice meant for someone else's path. It's time to trust the voice within. One God's been amplifying. The one that gets louder when you're still. That voice is your compass now. Some relationships were spiritual assignments, and the assignment hath been completed. Let it be. Don't resurrect expired seasons. Don't rehearse old loyalty to the point of your own spiritual suffocation. You tolerated too much for the sake of peace. But peace that costs your purpose is not peace, it's bondage. And Michael says, your wings will never work in cages built by familiarity. It's time to leave, not in bitterness but in boldness. Type I am anointed to get blessing 6427. Leaving doesn't mean abandoning. It means acknowledging who no longer fits the frequency of your future. You're not being harsh. You're being honest. You can love people and still outgrow them. You can forgive and still move forward. This isn't about rejection. It's about redirection. And the moment you release who no longer aligns, you'll find who's been waiting to join you in your elevation. Divine partnerships are coming. But first, space must be made. God is sending people who speak your language, who pray with power, who don't just support you, they see you. They won't compete, they'll collaborate. But you can't meet them until you release who only knew the version of you that didn't believe in your own light. That version is gone, and what's coming requires people who celebrate, not tolerate, your growth. Archangel Michael is clearing your circle so your destiny can breathe. This is your consecration moment. Not everyone will understand. Not everyone needs to. Obedience doesn't require approval, and your anointing doesn't need applause. Just keep walking. The next level of your life depends on your willingness to close doors with grace, bless people in silence, and continue in purpose. You don't owe an explanation for following prophecy. Michael says, you're not leaving people behind, you're following God ahead. Top I walk with clarity to receive the blessing 7101. There's been a block over your finances, but not because you're lazy, unskilled, or unworthy. Archangel Michael reveals that the delay wasn't about your effort, it was about your alignment. Heaven will never release what you cannot steward. And the moment you stopped chasing approval and started choosing obedience, the heavens began shifting your provision. The financial struggle wasn't a punishment, it was protection. God was guarding you from building a life that would outgrow your soul. The minute you chose obedience over opportunity, something in the spirit realm unlocked. You were never meant to just survive. You were called to overflow. But overflow requires clarity. And Michael says, July 14th marks the day where your obedience becomes the currency of your increase. No more cycles. No more lack disguised as humility. What's being released into your hands now is more than income. It's impact. Type I am rising to get the blessing 5984. The season of hustle is ending. This next flow will be birthed by burnout. It will be sustained by wisdom. You won't just earn. You will attract. You won't just strive. You will steward. Heaven is sending resources that come with instructions. The contracts, the sales, the promotions, they will feel different because they are divinely assigned. This is not the money that tempts you to forget who you are. This is the wealth that reminds you why you were born. Your bank account is a reflection of your belief system. And up until now, you believe it just enough to get by. But Michael says, stretch your expectation. Command the flow. Expect doors to open where there were none. You've paid the price in silence. Now prepare to reap invisibility. God is not ashamed of blessing you. Why should you be ashamed of receiving? You are not greedy. You are grounded. And that's why you're ready. Type I am anointed to get blessing 8840. Watch how fast things begin to shift. At one email. At sudden call. At unexpected payment. This won't come gradually. It will come like a flood. But your obedience will be your anchor. Don't change your posture when the blessings arrive. Don't revert to fear when the numbers grow. Stay aligned. Stay faithful. Stay humble. You're not being elevated just to enjoy comfort. You're being positioned to redistribute kingdom resources. And remember, God is not just increasing your provision, He's increasing your capacity. You're going to think differently, budget differently, sow differently. Your hands are being prepared to hold more without leaking it. You'll stop giving to feel needed and start investing to build legacy. You'll discern who's an assignment and who's a distraction. You'll know when to say yes and when to walk away, even from lucrative deals. Obedience has made you trustworthy, and trust is heaven's currency. This is your confirmation. You didn't miss your moment. You didn't ruin your chances. You were being prepared for this. And now the floodgates are open. Angels are already aligning the next opportunity. Resources are shifting in your direction. And what once felt impossible will now become your norm. Michael says, don't shrink your vision, expand your vessel. The blessing isn't coming. The blessing is here. Type I receive divine provision to get the blessing 9001. There's a reason you can't shake the feeling. A reason you lie awake at night, knowing deep down that you're meant for more than the routines you've been surviving. That quiet ache in your spirit, that's not anxiety, that's calling. Archangel Michael says it's been pursuing you since the moment you were born. No matter how far you've drifted, no matter how many times you've doubted, the call has never lifted. It's waited patiently, whispering through restlessness, nudging you through closed doors, pressing on you through unanswered prayers. You can't unknow what heaven has shown you. You've seen glimpses, through visions, dreams, déjà vu. You felt purpose tug on your chest like gravity. This isn't about titles or applause. This is about assignment. And until you answer it, nothing else will truly satisfy. That's why promotions felt empty. That's why relationships fell apart. Michael says, you weren't being punished. You were being summoned. And the call isn't optional anymore. Type I'm rising to get the blessing 5566. You were marked long before you had language for what you carry. Others saw it in you. The fire, the depth, the pull. Some celebrated it. Some tried to extinguish it. but none could erase it. Your voice is needed. Your story is needed. Your obedience is the key to unlocking doors for people you've never even met. That's why this calling feels heavy. It is. It's not a burden of pressure. It's a mantle of impact. And heaven will not let you rest in mediocrity when your spirit was created for greatness. Every time you ran from the assignment, your life felt louder, busier, more chaotic. But it wasn't punishment, it was resistance. Because the more you delay purpose, the more your peace diminishes. And now Michael declares, no more distractions, no more stalling. The divine deadline has arrived. This is the season where purpose finds you, even if you're still trying to find yourself. You don't need to have all the answers. You just need to answer. Type I am anointed to get blessing 7344. You're going to start seeing confirmations, sudden messages, aligned meetings, people asking you for things you thought no one saw in you. This is not coincidence, it's activation. Your calling has been released, and heaven is watching how you carry it. You'll feel divine pressure, but also divine clarity. You'll notice that what once felt overwhelming now feels necessary. What once confused you now feels familiar. Because this is who you were born to be. Michael is walking beside you now, guiding every step. Don't let fear be your counselor. Don't let comfort be your compass. Follow the pull. Say yes. Not when it's perfect. Not when it's easy. Doubt. The path won't always be smooth, but it will be sacred, and you'll be provided for as you go. Just like Abraham walked not knowing where he was going, you too will be led by faith, not formula, and that faith will unlock favor like you've never known. You are no longer permitted to live small, not because of ego, but because of assignment. Someone's healing is tied to your courage. Someone's breakthrough is tied to your voice. This isn't about you. It's about legacy. Heaven had been preparing the audience while preparing you. The calling is no longer knocking. It's breaking in. Answer it. Walk in it. Own it. You don't need to feel ready. You are ready. If this message is piercing your spirit and helping you step into divine truth, consider giving a super chat or super thanks today. Your support of $20 helps us continue creating powerful, prophetic messages like this one. We are grateful for every seed you sow. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, you can make a difference by donating via PayPal using the support here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. And be sure to subscribe to this channel if you haven't yet. You'll receive regular prophetic guidance, exclusive content, and spiritual tools to keep you aligned with your divine path. Type I accept my calling to receive the blessing 8675. You thought it would take years. You thought the door you've prayed for, cried for, and waited on was far in the distance. But Archangel Michael declares, it's not coming later, it's coming now. The door is opening suddenly. Not by force, not by effort, but by divine instruction. This door doesn't need your hustle. It needs your yes. You're stepping into rooms you didn't apply for, conversations you didn't expect, and favor you can't explain. That's what happens when destiny overtakes delay. Heaven has seen your endurance. You didn't chase the counterfeit. You didn't manipulate the outcome. You chose alignment over acceleration. And now the reward is rushing in. Michael says this door has been waiting on you to be ready. Not them. Not it. You. And because you didn't let bitterness harden you, because you didn't give up during the silence. You've qualified for a sudden opening that will shift your entire trajectory. Type I am rising to get the blessing 6898. You won't have to knock. You won't have to beg. This door will swing open because your name was already in the room before you arrived. Your obedience has spoken on your behalf. Your consistency has lobbied for you in heaven. Every no you honored, every goodbye you obeyed, every boundary you upheld, those weren't losses. They were preparation. And now, the divine timeline is catching up to your faith. You'll know it's the right door because it won't feel forced. It won't confuse your spirit. It won't demand your compromise. Instead, it will feel like recognition, like the space was carved with you in mind. Because it was. This is the season where the door doesn't just open, it confirms. Michael says, what's behind this door doesn't just bless you, it blesses everyone attached to you. This is a generational door. Type I am anointed to get blessing 7900. You may feel unqualified. That's normal. But heaven is not concerned with your resume. It's looking at your resilience. The oil on your life was not earned through applause. It was crushed out of your pain, your waiting, your faith. That's why this door will honor you. Because only you could carry what's coming. Only you stayed faithful when everyone else walked away. Only you still believed in the vision when it made no sense to anyone else. This open door is not just about opportunity. It's about identity. It marks the beginning of your visible elevation. You're no longer hidden. No longer silent. No longer waiting. This door proves that nothing was wasted. Not the tears. Not the rejections. Not the delays. Everything had been divinely orchestrated for this moment. And Archangel Michael says, this moment is now. Walk through the door with boldness. Don't hesitate. Don't look back. What's behind you was for your development. What's ahead is for your dominion. Heaven didn't bring you this far to tease you. The door is proof that the promise wasn't a lie. It was simply waiting for the right version of you to show up. And you've arrived. Take the step. The door is open. Type I step into overflow to receive the blessing 8441. Something has shifted in the spiritual realm, and not just around you but within you. Archangel Michael declares, you have just inherited spiritual authority. This isn't just influence. It's not just access. This is dominion. You've crossed a line that can't be uncrossed. The same voice you once doubted now carries weight in heaven. The same prayers you once whispered now move things in the unseen. You've gone from survival to command. From hoping to hosting the presence of God. You didn't earn this by performance. You inherited it by endurance. The tests you passed in private, the moments you chose faith when fear screamed louder, those moments were your consecration. Now, heaven recognizes you not just as a survivor, but as a strategic weapon. Michael says you are no longer just protected, you are positioned. The authority on your life has been activated, and you will feel the weight of it in your words, in your presence, and in your silence. Type I am rising to get the blessing 5780. From this moment on, you will notice things shift when you enter a room. People will either feel drawn to your light, or agitated by it. That's because your spirit now speaks louder than your voice. Darkness is unsettled by your elevation. But fear not. You're not here to blend in. You're here to break through. You've been handed the keys of spiritual legislation. Your declarations carry divine backing. When you speak, alignments occur. When you move, atmospheres shift. You become a carrier of breakthrough. This authority is not for your ego. It's for your assignment. You'll lay hands and healing will follow. You'll speak peace and storms will quiet. You confront injustice and see it fall. This isn't charisma. It's not emotional hype. This is weighty, holy, heaven-certified power. And with that power comes a new level of responsibility. Michael warns, guard your words, protect your oil, and steward your environment. What you carry must be protected with vigilance and reverence. Type I am anointed to get blessing 9181. Your authority isn't just for others, it's for you. You'll start recognizing spiritual attacks before they manifest. You'll begin cutting off agreements you didn't even know you made with fear, rejection, or lack. You'll walk with a confidence that isn't arrogance, it's awareness. You are no longer a victim of spiritual warfare. You are a commander in it. Angels move at your decree. That's not fantasy, that's prophecy. Michael has trained you for this. And now, your voice echoes in heaven's war room. This is why the enemy fought you so hard. It wasn't just about taking your joy. It was about stopping your inheritance. They failed. And now you must walk like you carry what you do. There will be moments you feel heavy. Don't retreat. That's your mantle. There will be moments you feel stretched. Don't resist. It's growth. Authority always comes with friction. But you are not walking into battle alone. Michael goes before you. You are now the answer to someone's prayer. You are the sign someone had been waiting for. You don't need to announce yourself. Your presence will reveal your appointment. When you speak, angels move. When you declare, shifts begin. The spiritual world recognizes what just changed, even if the physical world hasn't caught up yet. But it will. Soon. You stepped into rulership. Not over people, but over realms. Type I walk in divine power to receive the blessing 8042. Before every elevation, there is a final test. Not to punish you, but to prove you. Archangel Michael says, you are standing on the edge of full manifestation. Everything you believe for. Everything that's been whispered in the secret place. Everything that was delayed, resisted, or hidden is now inches from your grasp. But this last gate requires discernment. The enemy cannot stop the release, but he will attempt to distract you right before it arrives. This test will not look like a storm, it will look like an opportunity. Something that feels familiar. Something that appeals to your old identity, your old wounds, your old way of settling. But this time, you will see it clearly. This time, your spirit will catch it. Because now you don't just carry anointing, you carry awareness. And that awareness will become your safeguard in the final hour before your promise is fully unlocked. Type I am rising to get the blessing 6977. You will be tempted to rush, to compromise, to prove yourself. Don't. The test will trigger your impatience. It will invite you to move prematurely. But obedience is your shield. Timing is your weapon. You must resist the urge to take matters into your own hands. Just because it's offered doesn't mean it's ordained. Just because it's loud doesn't mean it's aligned. The final test will expose your readiness, not through hardship, but through choice. Michael warns, be still. Watch who comes back. Watch who suddenly supports. Watch what looks like favor but feels like friction. If it costs your peace, it's not from God. If it clouds your clarity, it's not your door. This is the test that determines whether you trust the process more than the promise. Heaven is underdone. The blessing is already released. But will you let it arrive God's way? Type I am anointed to get blessing 7120. This test will also come in the form of silence. God may go quiet, not because He's left you, but because He's watching you. Will you stay faithful even when the next step isn't loud? Will you still show up, still believe, still worship when there's no applause? This silence isn't abandonment. It's the sacred pause before the shift, and only those who endure it will walk in the fullness of manifestation. You're being watched in the unseen. Angels are standing ready to move on your word, but heaven is checking for maturity. This is not the time to vent to the wrong people. This is not the time to seek validation from broken sources. Stay focused. Stay set apart. Your name is already being whispered in rooms you haven't entered. But if you fold in the final hour, the release will wait. Not vanish, but pause. This is a test of posture, not performance. God isn't asking you to do more. He's asking you to be steady. Michael says, stand in your knowing. Stay in your lane. You've come too far to be distracted now. And what's about to be unlocked will confirm that the waiting was worth every battle, every delay, every tear. You're not just close. You're next. You'll know the test is passing when you no longer feel triggered by what once shook you. When you don't need to announce your growth, you just live it. When you choose peace over proving, silence over validation, obedience over opportunity, that's when the gate will swing open. That's when the full manifestation will pour in. Fast, complete, undeniable. Type I passed the test to receive the blessing 9303. This is the moment heaven has been preparing you for. Everything has led to this. Archangel Michael declares, your destiny has shifted, and it cannot be reversed. The timeline has been sealed. The battles have been recorded. The blessings have been released. You are no longer waiting, you are walking in it. You've crossed the line where nothing and no one can drag you back to who you used to be. The shift is permanent. The mantle is active, and your name is written in divine places. You will begin to feel the evidence, not just emotionally, but spiritually, relationally, financially, physically. Where there was resistance, there will now be release. Where there was silence, there will now be supernatural strategy. People will wonder how it happened so fast. But you will know, this wasn't sudden. This was scheduled. And now, the manifestation will mirror the magnitude of what you endured. The confusion is clearing. The warfare is weakening. And the clarity you once begged for will become your new normal. You've been elevated, not just in rank, but in realm. You're not where you were, and you'll never be there again. Michael says this is not a temporary rise, it's a permanent repositioning. Your steps are now ordered with precision. Your prayers are now answered with fire. Your presence now commands angelic attention. There will still be battles, but you will not fight them the same way, because your posture has changed. You are a gatekeeper now, a breaker of cycles, a deliverer of peace. You are heaven's proof that obedience works, that faith breaks chains, that silence has power. You are no longer becoming. You have become. And there is no going back. Take a deep breath and let your soul know it is done. Not by works, not by striving, but by divine orchestration. This destiny shift was not earned, it was activated. And now that it has begun, nothing will ever be the same. Archangel Michael smiles over you now, sword sheathed, because the fight is finished. The assignment has begun. Walk in it. If this message is piercing your spirit and helping you step into divine truth, consider giving a super chat or super thanks today. Your support of $20 helps us continue creating powerful, prophetic messages like this one. We are grateful for every seed you sow. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, you can make a difference by donating via PayPal using the support here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. And be sure to subscribe to this channel if you haven't yet. You'll receive regular prophetic guidance, exclusive content, and spiritual tools to keep you aligned with your divine path. Type a seal my destiny to receive the blessing 9999.